If I could rewind time and slap the words back into my mouth, I would. Without hesitation. My name is Emily. I'm 30 years old, and my husband is Luke, who's 35. We've been married for 3 years, and today, I'm about to share something I wish I could erase from existence. This isn't a fairy tale. There's no miracle twist at the end. No silver lining. What I'm about to confess is raw, ugly, and entirely my fault. Luke is the kind of man every woman hopes she'll find. Steady, gentle, selfless. He runs a modest little business, works hard to keep us comfortable, yet never fails to carve out time for me. He remembers how I like my coffee, brings me small surprises when I least expect them, and never complains about staying up late just to help me with the smallest things. At first, I loved that about him. His steadiness, his simple warmth. But somewhere along the way, my heart began to twist against him. I started looking at the men my friends bragged about. Fit husbands, tall boyfriends, men who seemed exciting and daring. Compared to them, Luke suddenly seemed too ordinary. What once felt like security began to feel dull. And though I told myself I was being ungrateful, the thought lingered. Every brunch, every perfect couple on social media, fed that poisonous seed inside me. And then came the night that shattered everything. It was supposed to be a harmless girls' night, dinner, drinks, laughter. But I didn't stop at one glass. Or two. I kept drinking, pouring my insecurities into the bottom of each glass until I wasn't just drunk. I was drowning in self-pity. When I stumbled through our front door, Luke was there waiting, like he always did. He had stayed up just to make sure I got home safely. That alone should have melted my heart. Instead, I looked into his kind eyes and threw a dagger straight through them. I'm not attracted to you anymore. 6 words. No reason. No hesitation. Just cruelty. The next morning, I woke up groggy, with my head pounding, and the sickening realization of something I couldn't quite recall. Then I saw him, Luke, sitting at the edge of our bed, staring down at the floor like his entire world had caved in. When he finally spoke, his voice wasn't loud. It wasn't angry. It was quiet. Almost broken. Is that really how you feel about me? Confused, I blinked, trying to piece it together. And then he repeated my words. Word for word. My stomach dropped. The memory hit me like a car at full speed. I scrambled, panicked, tried to laugh it off, tried to blame the alcohol. Luke, I was drunk. You know I didn't mean it. But he didn't argue. He didn't accuse me. He simply nodded, stood, and walked out of the room. And that's when I felt it. Something inside him had broken, and I wasn't sure it could ever be repaired. The days that followed were torture. Luke wasn't cruel, but he wasn't himself either. He no longer checked in with me during the day. The sweet texts he used to send gone. The warmth in his eyes when I came home gone. He still spoke, but only when necessary, and each word seemed to cost him effort. I tried everything to undo the damage. I cooked meals I knew he liked, even though I could barely cook. I slipped little notes into his lunch bag like I did when we were newlyweds. One night, I even tried to reach for him in bed, thinking maybe physical closeness could heal what words had torn apart. But he looked at me with eyes full of sadness and exhaustion, whispering, "Not tonight, Emily. Maybe another time." That should have been my signal to stop pretending and face what I had done. But instead of dealing with the silence I had created, I ran from it. One Friday, the house felt unbearable. Luke had barely spoken to me all week, and his distance gnawed at me. I felt suffocated by my own guilt, so I did what I always did when I wanted to escape. I went out. I told myself I wouldn't drink much this time. I told myself I just needed fresh air, a break from the heaviness at home. But deep down, I knew I was running. That's when I met him. A man who couldn't have been more different from Luke. He was bold, confident, with a smile that made me feel noticed in a way I hadn't in months. He slid into the seat next to me at the bar and said, "Rough day." I should have walked away. I should have shut it down. But I let him talk. I let myself enjoy the feeling of being wanted. I let him flirt. And when he leaned in and kissed me, I didn't stop him. The instant our lips touched, regret crashed through me. My stomach twisted with shame. And then I saw it. Out of the corner of my eye, Luke, sitting in his car across the street, watching. My blood froze. He didn't come storming in. He didn't yell or make a scene. He just rolled his window up, started the engine, and drove away. That was the moment I knew I had destroyed him. The next morning, he was already in the kitchen when I came downstairs. He wasn't angry. His voice was steady but final. "You made it clear last night that you don't respect me or our marriage." My knees buckled. I begged, I swore it was nothing, just a stupid mistake, that I didn't mean any of it. But he only shook his head. "I need time to think." Then he packed a bag, and just like that, he walked out of my life. He never came back. It's been 6 months now. Luke is thriving. He's seeing someone new. She's radiant, confident, everything I'm not. She makes him happy in ways I couldn't anymore. And me? I'm alone. My friends drifted away once they realized what I'd done. Even my mother, when I confessed everything, looked at me with quiet disappointment. "Emily, you had the kind of man most women dream about, and you threw it away." She was right. There's no redemption for me. No happy ending. Just the cold reality of living with a mistake I can't undo. If you're listening to this, please, don't take what you have for granted. Because once it's gone, you might never get it back. Goodbye.